Welcome to the T166 podcast. I'm Jose.
Paco here.
Ariful.
Your best buddy, Rabid Penguin.
Jesus, and I'm Logan.
Wait, so you're Jesus?
Wait, are you Jesus or are you Logan?
I'm pretty sure you can make the distinction.
Okay, Jesus it is.
Right.
So, how you guys doing?
I am well.
I am fantastic.
Oh wait, I sounded really depressed when I said that. I'm well.
Fucker, you sound depressed.
For any of you returning viewers, the reason we haven't been recording is because of somebody's Final Fantasy obsession.
Wait, what?
Just saying.
I'd like to cut into that. There's two reasons why we haven't been recording.
It's a pretty good reason.
One, first reason, probably that. But the top reason is definitely Geoffrey, Rabbit Penguin.
Is it really me, though? I mean,
Yeah.
really?
We should take a poll. How many people out there listening to us actually have worse internet than
I'm
him?
gonna make a straw poll for this and put in the description.
God. Yeah, well, okay.
Well,
just for reference, let's go for reference here. So you can understand just how ridiculous this is. I'm running 1.2 megs down regularly, 0.5 megabytes up.
See, I mean, that sounds pretty bad, but I have the same thing, and I'm in a city.
I do have internet that has streaming capability to a certain degree. And I'm like, I'm 15 minutes from the nearest convenience store. So there's that.
Yeah, it's a convenience store.
That's kind of far, 15 minutes.
Yeah, and that's driving, not walking.
For people who are returning and hear a new voice, that is the voice of Logan.
Ooh,
Jesus, Beethoven, whatever you want to call him.
Jesus, yeah. I'm known by many names. All of them have to do with some sort of white guy because I am the token white guy of the group, apparently.
So basically, there was another person here, and we're like, no, we need a white guy. Let's get that guy out of here.
Yeah, we got to be culturally diverse.
Yes, we needed to fill the quotas. We needed to fill our quotas, and half a white guy was not enough. We needed a whole one.
Mm-hmm.
So
they call me, and I'm like the Tom Brady of podcast.
You got some big shoes to fill.
And deflate.
Yeah, I got some shoes to deflate.
But we're talking about ratio of white people. What's the ratio of black? There's like half the black guy here.
Yeah.
That's true.
So who has had their iPhone crash because of this message?
Oh my God, that's so dumb. Like everybody in school is doing that.
This has not happened to me yet.
Really?
They actually already posted a solution to that crash. You just don't buy an iPhone.
Oh! And this is why I have a G3. That's the simple shit.
It got to the point where a guy at work was like, hey, do you have an iPhone? I'm like, I know what you're going to do, asshole. Don't fucking try. If I don't even have an iPhone.
It happens probably once every couple days, yeah.
Well, this hasn't happened to me. So what exactly does it do? Does it just shut off your phone or something? Or what?
Yeah, it shuts off your phone.
So glad I don't have an iPhone anymore. I had a 3G years ago. Okay, that was my first foray into the touchscreen phone arena.
You sound like an old man when you're talking about this.
But it was so many years ago, man. Think about that. The iPhone 3G came out in what, 2008?
Probably.
Yeah, that sounds right.
7 years.
2008, I was playing
I was
World
playing-
at War.
World at War, yeah. World at War was the game of the time. I loved World at War, man.
Look,
favorite COD.
COD 4.
I don't know. Maybe it's just because I never really played COD 4, but I always just enjoyed World at War more. Just
World
as a
at
game.
War was a better game.
Like, looking back at it, a lot of people, like, even YouTubers, I've watched videos, them talking about COD and Treyarch, and they say, yeah, World at War is definitely their favorite. And also, it had, like, gore in it, which a lot of people like.
There was something satisfying about using a sawed-off shotgun and blowing off both the legs of some guy.
Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Or
Or just like goring people with PTRS. Jeez.
Well, I mean, whenever you ran around with, like, let's say I used a stock bolt-action rifle, the Car 98 with no scope, And it was just iron sights, man, and you would just plink people's heads all the time. There would be headless bodies all over the map. It was lovely. But
Okay, then.
instead of looking towards the past, let's look towards the future. And apparently, Google has decided to play mobile marketing with the VR race. So everybody's heard of like Oculus, right?
Yeah,
Everybody's
Oculus Rift.
got Oculus in their back pocket, right? So
No, I haven't. What is the Oculus Rift?
Exactly. Please explain.
guy. Oh, in case. Okay, in case the Oculus Rift is a VR headset, right? That the final specs were released within the past 2 months or so, I think.
Even though
And,
they've been working on it for years, yes.
Yeah. And apparently it takes a minimum of $1,000 gaming rig to run. Because you need to have 2 HDMI ports, you need to have a graphics card that can support that can push a massive amount of power. I mean, I don't have the specs in front of me right now, but I don't think my GTX 970 could do it.
I don't mean to go back into what you just said, but what does VR mean?
VR is virtual reality.
Well, today I learned.
You learn something every day.
And you will always keep learning.
Reddit posts, man. Anyway, what I was going for was Google has decided to mobile market it, and by mobile market I mean now we have Google Cardboard, and they haven't decided exactly what to do with it. From what I can tell, it's going to revolutionize the world of VR. Okay, it is basically VR for all. It's $20, and it allows the use of virtual realities on anything up to a 6-inch diagonal phone, or what people have coined phablets. This is actually a thing, and websites like CNET and TechCrunch and stuff are actually they're using that word regularly. As somebody who owns a borderline phablet, it feels very emasculating.
Really?
I mean, come on. Think of the word phablet. I have a phablet. I don't have a phone. I don't have a tablet.
It sounds like you have a lisp phablet.
Well, think about
I
it.
live
Think about it like
like
this.
this.
You got to be compensating for something, right?
Don't.
Get wrecked,
Ooh.
kid.
What is it called, Paco?
Some of us
It's called
actually have
internet dick?
You're EPing.
EPing.
paid. That's it.
Oh, God.
But like I said, it's anything over a 5.5-inch display, and my LG G3 comes in just under that.
All phones are going to have to be that size, and like phones change sizes. Every single next generation of a certain phone keeps changing size. Like iPhone, you compare an iPhone 6 Plus or iPhone 6 to an iPhone 4, size is way different. I mean, it's funny, like trends keep changing. Like first everybody's like, I need the smaller thing, and then it's like, nope, we need bigger phones, bigger, better.
Yeah, it is weird. I mean, you have companies like Google that are putting out Google Glass, which was, I understand, a couple of years ago, and I haven't heard any news about it recently, so it kind of feels like they're giving up on the idea. But you have Samsung coming out with flagship phone being 5.5 inches. And on top of that, there's the Samsung Note 4 that's like 6.2 inches or something. It's one of the phablets. And then their tablets are like minimum 8 inches.
It's just become the new standard.
Yeah, I think so also.
Well, I didn't expect people to start carrying around things in their pockets that I've been carrying around for years. Things that size. It's weird.
He's basically saying he has a big dick for anybody who didn't get that.
Wow.
Well,
I do.
It's hard walking around carrying this massive phone everywhere.
Well, I have the iPhone 6 Plus, and it doesn't feel that big to me now. I mean, I did at first, but not anymore.
Yeah, to get used to it, it's like, it's not that big. That's why they have the little
regular 6. Yeah, for the little people.
Right.
Or the people that don't want to compensate.
little people need love too, everybody.
But, it's the flagship lines of phones, the ones that are really popular, the LGs and the Samsungs and the iPhones that are all these massive phones. And LG just came out with a G Vista, I think it is, which is like destined for bad things considering what happened to Windows whenever they put out software by that name. But Windows Vista was shit.
Oh, and at this point, people will just hear Vista and cringe, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
pretty much.
They put out the LG Vista, and they scaled down the specs, scaled down the price, but it has a 6.1-inch 720p screen. This thing's huge, but it's a weaker phone.
These phones are getting huge, and the point is that Google is doing something massive here in terms of like taking over the world, probably.
Well, I wouldn't say that extreme, but
Give it 3 years, Google Skynet. That's all I'm saying.
For those of you who do not know what Skynet is, you
geez.
need to go watch Terminator. It's one of those things. Like, I understand why you didn't watch Terminator because it's not relevant to you, but it should be relevant to everybody, and you should watch it. But anyways, that's what Skynet comes from. It's basically like computers taking over the world, which Google pretty much is doing. I don't blame them though. Computers are awesome. The new expansion just came out, Destiny: House of Wolves, right?
right.
So,
Yeah, like last week.
Yeah, last week. Logan, you and Razor have been playing a lot of it, and I played the story. What do you guys think of it?
So far, it's 100% better than the previous expansion, Crota's End. It just has a lot more content and visual stuff you can get, really, which I think, like, even if it's not per se, like, air quotes here, actual content, it just feels like there's a lot more to accomplish and to do. Overall, it's just a lot better.
But there's no raid. Like, that kind of irks me. Like, there should be a raid, right?
The reason, which I think this is where Bungie messed up in their marketing, they made it seem like every expansion was going to have a raid, when that isn't what they're going for at all. They just have activities they do after the story that are similar to raids. Since the last two like big things in the game were raids, everybody expected another raid out of this expansion. But what they ended up giving out this time was Prison of Elders, this 3-player mode where it's kind of like a horde mode, but it takes a lot more teamwork than any raid would.
Yeah.
I have not had the opportunity to play the latest Destiny expansion. It's actually been about 4 months since I've played Destiny, and that was within a week of me starting to play the game. What I think Destiny should do is, just an opinion, I know Bungie will never do this, the raids, they should have the final raid in one of the final DLCs, as an example, take place across the breadth of like one of the entire planets that are in the game. That would be an epic raid. It would be a raid to end all raids. And it should have a larger party size than normal. Because right now, it's a 8-man limit, I think, right?
6-man.
Six.
So it's a 6-man limit on raids right now. I mean, a raid across an entire planet with all enemies who are mostly going to be a higher level than you, you're probably going to want to up that number to like 12 people in an instant, right?
It's a lot.
I feel like what sort of goes against that is just Bungie's design when it comes to levels. Even with this new DLC, while there are some new set pieces, so to speak, a lot of areas are recycled and simply have added decorations or going in opposite directions. Also, I feel the basic mechanics of killing enemies in this game sort of rely on bullet sponge mechanics, so to speak, and
that I do agree with.
And I feel like if they weren't willing to add some sort of new damage mechanic, which would really have to be an overhaul of the game in general, I don't really feel like they could get away with a massive, time-consuming, epic adventure if the whole time you were just kind of gently whittling away on some sized-up, reused model.
That's true.
Right.
I do agree with that. But you have to remember that not only does Destiny play the bullet sponge game, but it also plays rock, paper, scissors. It's just like Pokemon. You know, certain weapons hit certain damage types, and certain damage types do better damage to enemies. So, I mean, if you strategize right, and if they put the right enemies and new enemies in, then it would work. But I'm not sure if Bungie would even do that with a game in the late stages like Destiny is.
It's like they know people are gonna buy it and probably already bought all the expansion, so it's like they don't care.
Well, to answer your question, Jeffrey, about larger scaled raids or whatever you want to have, like world scaled raids. Now, I know Paco plays Final Fantasy, yes.
Of course.
Oh, How big are your raids compared to our 6-man raids in Destiny?
Well, in Final Fantasy, you have an 8-man party. You have 2 tanks, 2 healers, 4 DPS. Each has a different role. You enter the setting, and you go through your trash, whatever, the mobs. You kill those, and
Add.
yeah, ads, same thing.
Hmm.
And so you kill those, you kill them, and then you go to the end of the raid, where there's going to be the final boss, for example, of that raid. So you kill the boss. It could take you a week, a month. But there are those, especially those big Japanese teams that can clear it in a week, and they're hardcore. They stay up probably 16 hours a day in doing them.
You don't have to be Japanese. I mean, come on.
Well, there are North American
Well,
teams also.
yeah, but in America,
Right.
The thing is, there's no the welfare in the U.S. doesn't work like welfare in Japan, where welfare in Japan will support you forever, completely and wholly, and it goes so far as being able to pay your bills as long as you live in a shitty enough apartment. But in the U.S., that's not how that works.
Let's move to Japan. What are we doing?
To finish your question, what I was going to say is Paco was saying how it's broken down into classes. If you wanted a bigger skilled raid, first you need to break down the raids so that your classes are important. Right now, in both the raids, your classes really don't matter. You could do it with any class. But in Prison of Elders, you need specific classes just to beat the highest level. Like, Logan and I have tried to finish 35 Prison of Elders, which is the hardest mode, and we haven't been able to do it.
Done talking about Destiny. Also on the topic of video games, news, or I guess rumored news, is that Silent Hills, which was previously canceled by Konami because Konami is deciding, hey, we should go focus on mobile games, which is weird to me, but okay. They're deciding. There's a rumor that Xbox is actually, or Microsoft is actually purchasing the rights to Silent Hills, which
Right.
a lot of people are excited for.
Which was recently botched.
Personally, that makes me excited because
yeah.
even though I'm not a fan of horror games or horror movies or horror anything in general, playing PT scared the shit out of me, but kept me interested, and it make me want to see more.
For the idiots like me who don't know what PT is, could you explain?
PT it's an acronym for playable trailer, but it was released a few months ago onto the PS4, and basically it was a sort of almost prequel-esque demo that had a lot of horror elements and involved a lot of supernatural sort of like scaring and other sorts of debauchery.
Hey, look, man, I debauchery. Debauchery!
The thing about PT that was awesome was pretty much the big reveal ending.
Yeah.
Right.
We saw that guy from The Walking Dead. I do not remember his name right now. I'm sorry.
Norman Reedus.
Norman Reedus.
You should care. The internet cares, but okay.
And they saw Hideo Kojima also at the end. That was such a big thing.
Yeah. So
Right.
Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro, which is a notorious film director, are teaming up to make a video game, which I've always wanted to see. I've always wanted to see, because I really like storytelling in video games. BioShock, Last of Us, and all that good stuff. So it's cool to see actual movie directors to help out video game designers and creators to make an awesome game. I really like to see that. And like Logan just said, I hate everything horror. It's not that I'm scared of it. It's I think it's so dumb and not even
redundant.
scary. And
I'm not gonna lie, I'm scared of it most of the time.
I played PT and I was on the edge. It was more of a thriller type feel, suspenseful. If you're gonna put in Kojima, which made Metal Gear Solid one of the best games ever, I'm on board, and it'll be exclusive for Xbox, which I think is really good for Microsoft because PlayStation right now has probably hands down on exclusives. They got Street Fighter exclusive on PlayStation. I think that's insane.
That's ridiculous.
On the talk of stories in video games, Call of Duty Zombies isn't really known for story, right? But if you play enough, there's stuff around the maps in the zombies world where there's actually a story that's interconnected with all the maps.
3 Easter eggs, yeah.
Look, I've always loved the fact the devs, whenever they made the maps, they made them coherent to a certain degree with each other, They meshed, but they didn't make the story for it. All right? what happened with World at War Zombies was unprecedented. They put the Easter eggs in, but they didn't expect what everybody else started to make out of it, what the community turned it into. So they fleshed it out. They helped it along a little bit, and they gave us an in-depth story on the side of Black Ops that nobody ever expected to happen, starting with World at War and moving on through Black Ops and Black Ops 2.
Yeah, because I mean, in World of War, it kind of worked its way up. It was like Nocturne Totem, very first map the game came with. It didn't really have that many Easter eggs, but it had them. And then when they found out people liked the game, they started putting a little bit more and more like clues and little radios, hidden radios that you can hit, and there'll be a story to tell along. And now we're looking at Call of Duty Black Ops 3 that's coming out in November of 2015 this year. They already said there's going to be a whole zombies like story campaign mode, if you will, that they're going to be focused on.
I don't mean to be a pleb, but Black Ops 3 is what I'm most excited for this year. I'm just saying.
A lot of us are.
There's a lot of games to be excited for. Like the one that's coming out, sooner than the ones we mentioned is Batman Arkham Knight. That's the next one, I think. I'm definitely getting that game. And if you guys haven't played like any of the Batman games, really recommend you play them because they're really good. And
man,
what?
Last weekend there was the greatest Steam sale ever on the entire Batman Arkham series. Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and
Origins.
what's the other one? Arkham Origins. Yeah. They were all on sale for $5 a piece.
Oh. Yeah, well,
and that was I missed it. I missed it by that much, and by that much I mean like an hour. It was terrible.
But the other games that are coming up, I'm excited for. Like probably most of us, Metal Gear Solid 5, which Konami did say they will release because Konami is done with video games, and Rock Band 4, which I know me and Paco are like so pumped for.
That hype.
And like I'm so hyped for Rock Band, and I feel bad for like Activision and Guitar Hero because it's like kind of like that one game that I'm pretty sure on Christmas time Rock Band is gonna be like $60, right? But Guitar Hero is gonna be like $30 because nobody bought it. Like,
yeah.
I mean they changed the controller, so everyone knows the music game controller and the guitars. It's like 5 buttons on the strum bar on the neck of the guitar.
Yeah.
But what Activision did for the new Guitar Hero is we'll just have 3 buttons on the neck, and then there's going to be three sets and 2 rows. So it's 6 buttons in total, but they're stacked on top of each other. So there's 3 rows of 2.
That's super weird.
That seems,
I mean,
like they're trying to change it, but at the same time, I'm like, I feel like Guitar Hero is one of those games like people liked it enough, or like Rock Band liked it enough to where they don't have to. The game doesn't have to be changed. Like, everybody's like, oh, we need to change Call of Duty. We need to change this game. It's like, if it worked the first time, most people are going to like it, and maybe they won't like it at the time, but then they'll see, wow, this game was actually really good. I don't know why they changed it.
Yeah, but, it's like what happened with Advanced Warfare. Advanced Warfare was shite.
It's actually a really good game, I say, but it is...
The thing about Advanced Warfare, you get people like Geoffrey and then people like Jose. Some people, which I also happen to agree with, think it's just absolute shite. But then other people and then other people like Jose, they think, it's a good game. And I mean, I wouldn't say I'd lean either way. I just don't find it as fun in general. My favorite Call of Duty was Modern Warfare 2, as these guys definitely know because I always say it. But I just really like the gunplay in general for that, and then I just feel like the addition of so much movement being such a key component, I feel just like polarized the community a little bit.
That is the one thing that I do not like is like the whole we're gonna put jetpacks and you're gonna be moving faster. It's like when it becomes part of the gunplay, in Titanfall, you guys play Titanfall. That wasn't much of the gunplay. Wasn't you jumping around? It was you getting to a certain location. You use your
Right.
jumping and wall running and jetpacks and stuff like that. Like in Black Ops 3, from what I see and hear on YouTubers on their multiplayer videos, because they did get to go play and they were invited to Treyarch. They say most of the because they do have jetpacks in the game, but it's more like a thrust jump, and they have wall running, but that's just the means of getting somewhere. It's not a part of the gunplay, which in
You
Advanced Warfare is such a big part of the gunplay.
you won't be doing it while fighting
Yeah.
somebody.
It's almost summer, or is it summer already? I don't know.
Almost.
I guess in terms of, because I'm gonna start talking about movies. In terms of movies, the summer time for like movies has already started, and it started with Avengers, which everybody except Geoffrey saw. But you know, and Logan. God damn it, you guys haven't seen the Avengers. Well, everybody on the internet's seen it, and
Everybody on the internet sees it.
and spoilers, Ultron is
Yeah.
an asshole.
Ultron is Dumbledore, and he dies.
But
Wow.
We always
Serious
talk
spoilers.
about
Disclaimer: I haven't actually seen the movie, so he might be dead.
But we're not going to talk about the movie. We're just talking about movies that are coming up that you guys, I guess, looking forward to because summer just started. Like Avengers, I guess I was looking forward to that. I was also looking forward to Mad Max, and it was really good. I think most of
Good,
us
yeah.
saw what Mad Max except Jeff.
Well, Jose, I remember I never heard about this movie until the week of, and then we went to go see it that opening night, and it was fucking awesome.
It's
Yeah.
pretty awesome, right?
Some people aren't going to know this, and I knew this at the time. Like Mad Max is actually a movie series from 1980s, and this is continuing on with the series. So this is the fourth movie in the series, and it's continuing on. And
Oh, they actually did make it as a continuation, didn't they?
yeah. And the old
I didn't-
ones, they're Australian films with young Mel Gibson, which is Australian if nobody knew that, in the movie.
Really?
Today I learned.
And it's funny because I have coworkers at my job and they're older, and I told them, hey, Mad Max is awesome, you guys gotta go see it. And they're like, oh, but it's probably not as good as the old one. And I'm like, according to everybody who's seen both, it is. And I wish I could have seen the older ones, but they're not on Netflix anymore, and they were at one point. But if no one's seen it, I guess you should really, really see it. It's just pure action. I mean, the story is there. It's not really relevant. You just got to know that it's awesome, action packed from start to finish.
Well, the original look, the trio of original Mad Max movies did have a story and they did have a premise.
Mhm.
It's just that the insanity of what it was and what it is, which was Australians doing crazy shit with dune buggies and spikes, is the new Mad Max is aware of its ridiculousness. The old ones
Yeah.
weren't, and they tried to tell a serious story with the ridiculousness.
And now that since they're aware, it's like, okay,
Well,
really.
the thing about the old Mad Max is the first two were definitely, the first one specifically wasn't over the top. The second one got there. The second one, I believe, was Road
Thunderdome!
Warrior, and
Yeah.
then the third Thunderdome was just
They said it was shite, apparently.
shite.
Why are we saying shite?
Shite.
Because I've heard shite, so I'm going to say shite.
Yeah, it's pretty.
None of because the word shite itself, I'm feeling is pretty shite.
Is shite a way to get around just saying shit? So
Yeah, it's like British,
Shite
but none
is
of us.
how British people say it. Yeah, it's like that whole thing. If you call a Brit chav, then they'll be super offended, and Americans won't even know what the fuck they're talking about.
But yeah, the original Mad Max came out in 1979, and it's just called Mad Max. And then the other ones are the ones that got the second
Road
title.
Warrior and Thunderdome. Yeah.
I wanted to see what was that movie I wanted to see? The Disney one, Tomorrowland.
Tomorrowland?
What about the new Pixar movie?
Oh, that one too. I'm gonna get to that. I want to watch that, but I want to watch the Tomorrowland. I haven't seen it, but if anybody says it's good, let me know. The other movie is Inside Out, which is a Pixar movie, and the Pixar movies are always great. I mean, everybody knows that.
Everybody.
Everybody, and it's
Well,
something-
you know, some people objectively decide after they turn, you know, roughly 20 years old or 22 or something like that, that animated films are no longer their bag. And those people, to you, I say, grow up.
And then Jurassic Park. I'm excited for that.
Jurassic Park looks good, or Jurassic World
Jurassic
rather.
World. Sorry.
Yeah.
It looks okay. I'm gonna be brutally honest. it looks bad in terms of like story, but like in
Yeah.
terms of like Jurassic Park and freaking monsters running
They're
around,
not monsters.
pretty awesome. What monster dinosaurs? I mean, Godzilla is made by the same company.
The animation looks pretty damn good.
Yeah, the same
Look.
producers, and they had monsters in Godzilla. And Godzilla was it was bad in terms of like story wise, right? But like I like the whole Godzilla
But it looked
fight.
great.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
It looks great. I don't know. The Jurassic World it keeps giving me flashbacks of Transformers: Age of Extinction.
I didn't watch that.
I
Thank God I didn't watch that.
yeah, it wasn't. I watched it in the movies. That was not worth the money at all.
Mark Wahlberg. You didn't like Mark Wahlberg?
Mark Wahlberg is a decent actor, but that movie was shite.
You were
Yeah,
still
but-
saying shit.
Was it shite enough for you, or do you prefer movies less shite?
Less shite.
I prefer movies less shite.
He,
Shite Fest 2,
he likes
Electric Boogaloo.
he likes movies with Don.
With
Don. Don. G-O-N-G.
Oh.
Dick.
I do like Game of Thrones. I'm not gonna lie.
I was gonna bring that up right now. So, spoilers. Game
I
of
haven't
Thrones.
watched it.
Don't spoiler it.
Fucking Eddard Stark.
Don't spoiler it.
You spoiled it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But no. If you haven't seen this new season, dude. Oh. The last episode was really good.
I have
No,
some
never mind.
advice for anybody who plans to read the books.
Don't read.
Read the books, watch the show. Don't compare the two because they end up being different storylines. So don't bother.
Right, but George R. R. Martin's fucking
Up to a point. For most of the time, or up to a certain point, they're the same.
Well, they start diverging from a lot of the things in the books early on, like really early on. All right, like the kid who plays Bran, his growth spurt, it forced changes into the show that nobody wanted to make.
Yeah,
Because between season 1 and season 2, he was like 3 years older or some shit, or at least he looked 3 years older. It was ridiculous.
and then now it's like I feel like they're not adding them spoilers. They're not in season 5. You don't see them. We haven't seen them yet. We're about to be 8 episodes into it, and they haven't shown the kids at all. So it's like I feel like they're purposely. Oh wait, we're gonna wait until they get a little older so we can start talking about their story again. So that, I guess
Which is
a good thing about the series. But
One thing I like, this doesn't really have to do with Game of Thrones, like specifically, but in general, with most shows, with most shows, the books are never like on at a T. They're always the show is an adaptation of the book on purpose. They do that so that you're not watching the same story. There's no point of making it exactly the same, because if you already read it, then why would you watch the show?
no, not. But the thing,
Well-
I think there's less people that have read it than have watched it.
Yeah, I definitely agree
Yeah.
with that. Because I mean, like,
Well,
why
Game of
would you?
Thrones-
To answer your question, since I have read the books but not watched the show, just to sort of see, like, get a better visualization. Like, obviously, when people read books or whatever, they're gonna have their own thoughts and ideas on who the characters are, what they look like, and everything. But actually seeing it, if you're big enough fan of the series, actually seeing it as a show just gives you a better perspective and if you're looking for more, if you're waiting for the new book because it takes so long for him to write it's just a good filler.
Man, the guy is in his 60s. I mean, he probably types like 8 words a minute, okay? Besides the fact that he has ridiculously long books to write anyway. If he finishes the last 2 books in the series before he dies, then it was fucking Providence, okay? That's the only option.
What if he already has books done?
Because-
He's just waiting.
Well,
Be
no,
smart.
the Winds of Winter is mostly done. He's
Uh,
reading a chapter at a convention.
Yep, at
I
a-
don't know where.
That's cool.
But
Which
still,
more
yeah.
authors did that?
Novels are like that popular with the con crowd. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, one thing I'd like to commend him for is when he writes his books, he writes them at the same time, which I think most authors try to do, but they don't physically write multiple of them like at the same time. They think about it, but they don't write them at the same time, which I really like that George Martin does.
What do you mean? Right at the same time? I don't understand what you.
Like-
really
So, for example, he did the second and third books in the series, which was I think not a Feast for Crows, Feast for Crows and a Clash of Kings, I believe, maybe. No, Storm of Swords and a Feast for Crows. That's it. They were written mostly simultaneously because the stories pair up.
Yeah.
And a lot of what happens in the second book, too, the first half of the second book takes place during the timeline of the first book, whereas the second half of it takes place during the timeline of the third book.
Yeah, so that's why the seasons, it's like whenever you go to IMDb or any website to look up like each season of the show, they'll say from book 2 and 3 or book this and this because it is like there's two different stories happening at the same time, like you said.
Yeah, well, there's literally book 5 stuff going on in the show right now, but there's still book 3 stuff going on in the show right now.
Wow.
It's because that's how the timelines worked and that the way that he wrote the story. Because he wrote so many storylines simultaneously, and they just had to kind of shove them into a 1-hour time slot. It didn't work very well, I think.
It definitely worked well for HBO. They're making bank.
But yeah, that's enough Game of Thrones for today, guys. Go watch it. It's awesome. Please.
Or read the books, or like be like Paco and just mooch off of me. Because he was just off of my HBO.
Or just be like me and don't watch or read any of it.
Yeah, don't do that. All right, so I guess that's it for the podcast. If you ever want to send us messages or let us know what you think, you can go to our YouTube channel. That will be in the description of our YouTube channel.
Really?
Oh my god, you idiot.
All right. Well,
Twitter.
Twitter. You can tweet at us, and our Twitters are going to be in the
description
below.
Are you guys hungry?
I'm hungry.
I want some pizza.
I want some fish tacos.
That's where we stop.
You're so punny.
Kill yourself.
I want crucial nachos.
Oh, God. Kill yourselves, please.
Everybody, this is us, T166 Podcast Crew, signing off. OZ leaving. Bye.
Later, boys.
Bye, guys.
Adios.
That was so fucking cringy.
Oh my god.
Later, boys.